Good day all. Hope you are doing great. Today we have come up with a new article again, and today's topic is creating analysis load cases using Caesar2 static load case editor. In this video article we will cover the following points, that are: what is a load case, why load case is required. Next we will be explaining Caesar2 individual load sets, means what are the parameters that we will be using for defining a specific load case. And finally we will see a case study of Caesar2 static load case editor and the load case definition, means how we will be defining the load cases for analysis. Now what is a load case? A load case can be defined as a set of loads that may include weight load, pressure load, temperature or thermal load, any other external forces, displacements, etc. and boundary conditions for defining a particular loading condition. So that means that a load case defines a loading condition for a specific region or specific condition. For more details about this Caesar2 load case, you can refer to this article, that whatispiping.com /load cases. Now let's look what are the individual load sets that are available in Caesar2 for load case definition. This table has been extracted from Hexagon website itself. The reference is mentioned here, you can check there. Now for defining load cases, we will be using these notations, that W, this is used for dead weight. That includes pipe weight, insulation weight, refractory weight, cladding weight, fluid weight, and any rigid body weight. Then WNC. WNC means weight without any content. Means there is no fluid inside the pipe or inside the system. Without this content, all other weights, means it will include pipe weight, insulation weight, refractory weight, cladding weight, rigid weight, etc. No fluid weight. Then WW. WW means water weight. This will be specifically required for hydrotest load case definition. That means weight of the piping system including water weight. This includes pipe weight, insulation weight, refractory weight, cladding weight, water filled weight, rigid weight, and normally, as I explained, that this is mostly used for hydrotest cases. Then there will be 9 temperature cases starting from T1 to T9. This is actually thermal set 1, 2, 3 and up to 9. So all temperature cases. Then there will be 9 pressure cases starting from P1, P2, P3 up to P9. We will be using maybe P1 for design pressure, P2 for operating pressure this way, or similarly T1 for operating uh, temperature, T2 for design temperature maximum, T3 for design temperature minimum. Other temperatures may be hot, cold, or means operating standby or any other cases. Now HP. HP is for hydrotest pressure. This will be created for hydrotesting condition along with WW. Next, there will be 9 displacement cases starting from D1, D2, D3 up to D9 that will define any imposed displacement in the system. Similar way, there will be force cases F1, F2, F3 up to F9, 9 forces and moments. These vectors can be defined in the system. Next, wind analysis cases: wind 1, wind 2, wind 3 and wind 4. 4 wind cases, one for each direction, means for x plus x minus x plus z minus z. Then there will be wave for wave force conditions, wave 1 up to wave 4. Normally in most of the cases for normal onshore piping there is no wave, so wave is not considered. Now comes the seismic load cases U1, U2, U3. These are the uniform loads. Any type of uniform load can be defined using these cases. It may not be specifically seismic or earthquake loads. For earthquake loads also use this U1, U2 and U3 notations. Then CS is for cold spring. Sometimes systems are used with cold spring, so that can be defined for cold spring load cases. Material 18 and 19, this is defined by CISR 2 itself, specifically to use this cold spring case and this material to be used. And finally H is for spring hanger de definition. Means H will be used only when there is any spring hanger in the system. So these notations we will be using for creating our load cases based on specific requirement as defined in the codes, maybe B31.3 or B31.1 or B31.4. As code will say, based on that we will be defining all our load cases using these notations. Now we will see the actual case study of the static load case editor, and we will create or define the load cases for a system. Let's check how to define the load cases, taking the example of the same pump system that we analyzed or that we have given example in my last video. So the same pump system we will be using as example to create the required load cases. Now to this button in CISR 2 is the static load case editor that is showing. This is not active. To make it active, we have to click or we have to run through the error checker first. So once we click on this, it will show if there is any error or warning. Here only few warnings are there. Warnings we can ignore. But if there is any error, it will show as red and we have to rectify it to go to the static load case editor. However, it is a better practice that you check what errors or warnings are saying. If there is any critical warning, you have to rectify that. Otherwise, in most of the cases, you can simply ignore it. Now, this is activated, so we can click on the static load case editor. Now, this is the static load case editor in CISR 2. Here this plus button is for adding any load case and cross button is for deleting any load case. This button gives us recommended load cases by CISR 2. This program by default provides few load cases, and this load case is for importing any load case. If we have a similar system previously analyzed and we want to import those load cases in this system and use, that can be done directly by clicking on this import load cases. So we don't have to define the load cases, we will be directly getting the imported load cases. Now here few notations are showing. Whatever load cases or parameters we will be defining in the input screen, those will be coming here. Here as for W and WW has come because W is for weight of the pipe including content and WW is the water filled weight. WW will come once we define the HP or hydro test pressure, because these WW and HP are required only for defining hydro test case. Now here temperature cases coming as T1 to T6, we have defined T1, T2 and T3 for design and operating cases and T4 to T6 as standby and operating cases for pumps. That's why we defined 6 temperatures. So 6 temperature is showing here. We defined only one pressure, that is design pressure. So here only P1 is showing. And WNC by default will be coming because this gives weight no content. Means when there is no content inside the pipe, it can this load case can be used as WNC or weight no content. Now for analysis, our first load case requirement is as per code is hydro test case, that is WW plus HP. So that load case is defined as WW plus HP. The name by default it will be coming as hydrotest case, and stress type. There are various stress types. We can choose it from here. For this case, it will be hydro, HYD. Next, by default, scissor defines W plus T1 plus P1. Means weight with weight of pipe with content, plus T1 means temperature 1 case, plus P1 means pressure 1 case. This is operating condition case 1. We have to define all operating cases including all temperatures and pressures. If here we have 6 temperatures, so T1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and T6, so 6 operating temperature cases has been defined. Now this W plus P1 as mentioned in L3, L5, L7, L9, L11 and L13, these are all sustained load cases. All sustained or hot sustained load case we can see. Means this will be giving that in T1 temperature there may be some supports, those are lifting or not taking any load. So this all sustained will be eliminating those supports and will be creating that sustained stress during that situation. Similarly, that L5 it will be creating the condition or sustained stress condition for T2 temperature condition, and similar way all other temperature conditions also will be created and all sustained or hot sustained stresses will be generated. Next required and very important load case is W plus P1, that is sustained. Means weight of pipe with content plus design pressure. This will be sustained case. Now whatever temperature cases we have used here, from those cases this sustained will be deducted to create the expansion or thermal load cases. Now scissor 2 by default creates all possible load cases considering the defined temperatures. Means T1, T2 up to T6 we have used. Based on that, this many L5 to L35 means around 20 load cases, expansion type load cases, scissor 2 by default automatically creates. But all these load cases may not be required for analysis, because if we consider only maximum and minimum temperature stress range, means here T1 is we have defined as maximum design temperature, and T2, T3 we defined as minimum design temperature. So T2 means load case L2 minus L6 if we define, then from L2 minus L4 or other load cases by default will be coming stress values as lower than that. So few load cases we can delete, otherwise we can accept all also, means load cases will be only number will be increasing. Now these are the minimum basic load cases that scissor is recommending us for this system to analyze. Based on that minimum these load cases we must have to create and analysis must be performed. But there could be various other load cases based on our project specification or flexibility specification, like normally wind or seismic cases are required to be analyzed for most of the system. So we will be showing how to define those wind and seismic load cases. Now to define that wind and seismic load cases, those loads must be defined and coming in this input so that we can use those loads defined in input. Here it is not coming, neither wind, no seismic or neither uniform load, means we have not defined yet. So we have to go back to our input screen and we have to define parameters for wind and seismic. For that we will close this one and we will save it. Now we have come to our input screen in Caesar 2. For defining wind, if all the elements are subjected to wind, then we will be creating, or we will be clicking on this wind and provide the wind shape factor value. In most of the cases, the wind shape factor values will be 0.7 because this is a parameter for cylindrical piping shapes and it depends on various type of shapes. But you check with your project specification or flexibility parameter, this may be different, maybe 0.65 or others. So whatever parameters your project specification will be saying, that you have to provide here. Once you define this wind shape factor here, and this wind by default will be clicked. For wave you have to change it, so it will be defined for the complete system. If I define in the first element, if we have to define in some elements and there is means few parts of the system is subjected to wind loads, not the complete system, then we can click on this off button for few elements, and wherever it is applicable we can click on wind. Now to define the seismic load or uniform load, we have to click here this uniform load. Normally seismic or earthquake is defined in two vectors, in x and z, means horizontal vectors. Normally it is not expected that, or not considered in vertical direction, but for that also you have to check your project specification, because few projects may be requiring your seismic consideration in vertical direction. Let's assume that seismic coefficient value is 0.15 times in G. So in X we are defining 0.15, and in Z, in vector 3 we are defining 0.15 in Z. These both are in G. G means in gravitational, it will be calculating its values based on pipe weight. Now we have to again go back to the static load case editor. Now this load case editor is not active, so we have to first run the error checker. Now once error checker has performed its activities, it will be activated. So now we will be going to the static load case editor again, and now you can see that all wind and U1, U3 we defined, so this has come here. So now we will be able to use these values to create our load cases. Normally we define our load cases after the basic load cases, so up to sustained load case already defined by Caesar 2. Now we will be defining from L15 onwards. For each cases, for wind or seismic, we require 4 load cases, 4 for wind and 4 for seismic, means considering from wind or seismic from plus x direction, minus x direction, and plus z direction and minus z direction. So we will be creating total 8 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now we always consider this occasional seismic or wind cases with operating cases. So we will be copying this load case and pasting it here. Now we will be adding wind cases first. So wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4, and next seismic cases plus U1 minus U1 plus U3 and minus U3. Now, as per code, this operating cases has to be deducted from these operating cases. So next we will be creating 8 load cases again, and those will be pure seismic cases. Pure seismic or pure wind means pure occasional cases. So we have created 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loads. Now we will be defining pure occasional cases as L15 minus L4. L4 was our operating. So next L16 minus L4. Next L17 minus L4. Next L18 minus L4. Next L19 minus L4. Next L20 minus L4. Next L21 minus L4. And finally L22 minus L4. All these cases will be occasional type, so we will be choosing occasional as stress type. Now occasional has been defined, and this will be of algebraic type, combination method. Now code says that we have to check code stress along with sustained, pure occasional plus sustained. So we will be adding this sustained load case along with these pure occasional load cases. So 8 more spaces we have to create for defining those. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here load case is L23. Along with that we will be adding our sustained load case, that is L14. So L23 plus L14, L24 plus L14, L25 plus L14, L26 plus L14, L27 plus L14, L28 plus L14, L29 plus L14, and L30 plus L14. Means up to L30 it was here L25 plus L14, 26, 27, 28, 30. Now all these load cases will be again occasional type. And combination methods for all occasional load cases will be scalar or absolute. So I am selecting scalar here so that it gives conservative result. Now as we have defined wind, we have to define the parameters for wind loads. Here we have to define the parameters. There are various codes and standards or various possibilities of defining wind. Here I will be showing an example considering wind, velocity and elevation. For all 4 cases, wind 1, wind 2, wind 3, wind 4, we have to define the direction cosines. Let's assume that first wind 1 load case is for wind from plus x direction, and velocity, this data you have to take from your project specification or flexibility specification, but I am assuming something. Let's assume that velocity is 10 meter per second at ground level. For few project specification, they will say to apply wind after 10 meter elevation, but few other again say that from ground level itself you have to apply. So accordingly you have to create, or you have to have the inputs for this wind analysis. I am considering from ground level. So let's assume that at 10-meter ground level, at 5-meter elevation it is 11 meter per second, at 10-meter elevation it is 12 meter per second, at 15-meter elevation it's 13 meter per second. Accordingly you have to define up to what elevation your pipe is running. The current defined system will not be more than 15 meters, so I am not defining more velocities. Now we can directly copy this wind vector to other vectors directly, so it will be copied. Now we will be go to case 1. It will not be +1 because +1 we have already defined in wind case 1, so it will be -1. Then we will be going to case 3. Here it will not be x, so we have to change it to z. So plus z, z is equal to 1, and then -1. Now wind case is complete, so we can perform our analysis. We can run or analyze the load cases. So it will be performing its analysis and it will be showing results. But there is no red part, that means there is no failure. One point I missed to tell you, that when we are performing wind analysis, we have to enter the global coordinate by clicking this global coordinate button, mainly elevation thing. It is that the first node, if it is elevated, let's assume that my first node 10 is at 2-meter elevation. So here unit showing is millimeter, so I will be entering 2000. So after that we have to again perform the analysis because earlier I had not provided this value. So it will be again performing the analysis and provide its results. Mainly wind stresses or wind force values it will be changing, because that global coordinate is only related to wind load cases for our current system. Now we will check the results and interpret or see the best engineering practices within what limit we should take. Now first we will check, as we defined, that WW plus HP is hydro test case. There may be situation that your line may not be hydro tested, so on those cases this HP and WW, this load case is not required, and if you don't provide your HP or hydro test pressure here, it will by default will not be taking. So we will see that stress summary. So it is showing at node 970 the stress ratio is 26%. So we will check that, we can check that node 970 is where hydro test is showing as maximum. This is the node 970, this at this elbow the stress is maximum. Now better engineering practice is to keep hydro test stress summary or stress ratio below 50%. Next we will check all sustained stresses. Now here it is showing all the hydro test cases on the same range only. Mostly supports are not getting lifted, so all values are showing similar values. 43.8. So in all temperature cases T1 to T6, the support behavior is almost similar. That's why stresses are also similar. It's a better or good engineering practice to keep these all sustained stress values below 80%. Next we will be checking that sustained stress. The sustained stress here the system is showing as 43.6 at node 970. It's a better engineering practice to keep this sustained stress value below 60%. Now we will be checking the wind stresses and seismic stresses. Wind stresses it is showing as 32.9 as the maximum, and seismic stresses it is showing as 36.8 as maximum. Better engineering practice is to keep these stress values below 90%. So up to 90% is acceptable. Next, expansion stresses. So we will select all expansion stresses and we will check what is the maximum value. Maximum value in most of the cases comes in max minus minimum design temperature cases. Means for this case L2 minus L6. Let's check how much it is showing here. L2 minus L6. L2 minus L6. L2 minus L6 it is showing as 16%. All other values no. L10 minus L12 this case is showing as maximum, it is 26.1%. So we have to check these stresses, and it is a better engineering practice is to keep the expansion stresses below 80%. Now there is one more consideration with respect to expansion stress, that is with liberal stress and without liberal stress. If we go to the environment and special execution parameter button, there is one button called liberal stress allowable for this job. It is strict means liberal stress is used. That means we have used higher allowable stress for this system. But sometimes your project specification may say that it should be unchecked. So in that case, you have to click on it and then you have to check this expansion stresses. Means here as we can see that in L2 minus L10 minus L12 it is showing as 26.1 as the maximum. Now once you uncheck that and run, it will increase. Let's see how much it is showing. So it is always better that you perform your analysis without considering the liberal stress. That will be more conservative design. So earlier it was 26.1 and now without considering the liberal stress, the same stress has increased to 39%. Now we have to check the sagging for sustained case. For that we will be selecting sustained and then displacements, and we will check the negative displacement in sustained case. Here it is showing as -7. Now better engineering practice is to keep this sagging value below -10 mm for process piping and below -3 mm for power piping. For process piping also, for flare lines and free draining lines, it is a better practice to keep below 3 mm. Next we will be checking the loads that supports are experiencing. For that we will be selecting hydro test, then all operating load cases, sustained load cases, and all operating cases along with occasional load cases. We will be selecting restraint summary or restraint summary extended for checking loads along with displacements. So here this supports, let's assume that support at load node 140, this is experiencing these loads, and at the end this will be showing the maximum force that will be experienced by that support. So here around 6 kilonewton vertical downward force is experienced by this support, and fx force is around minus 1.6 kilonewton, and fz force is around 1.3 kilonewton. Similarly, all of the other supports are also will be showing, and whatever supports will be lifting, that you can see from here by checking the displacements. Any supports with positive displacement means that support is not taking load in that specific case. Means for support at node 250, here at hydro test case it is taking load, but operating design temperature and maximum operating temperature it is not taking load. Again at minimum design temperature it is taking load. So any positive displacement means the support is not taking load. So that you can check from here. Here the type of support is not taking any load means it has been made flexible. At node 10 we had provided stiffness value as 0. You can check it there, means the nozzle is not connected with the pump at this current situation. So because we performed WNC analysis, WNC case, and we have considered that file, so you have to remove this stiffness value and run the analysis again. So it will be showing you the nozzle loads, how much the load at various cases nozzle is experiencing. So in a similar way you can create all load cases. There may be situations that, let's assume that this is vessel, vessel is not modeled, and I am directly imposing that vessel displacement at this node. So you can put the displacement here with a C node. So let's assume that the vessel is pushing this point, or vessel is movement at this point is towards z direction 2 mm in design temperature case, and towards downward direction minus 2 mm, and in all other direction this is 0. This is for design temperature, and D2 is 1.5 mm, 1.2 mm and minus 1.2 mm. Then remaining all others are 0. So once you define this D1 and D2 here, so you have to define that same in load cases. So for that again you have to run the error checker and go to this load case, and you have to add these displacements. As we told that D1 is for design temperature, so we will be adding this D1 to design temperature, and D2 is for operating, so we will be adding this D2 at operating temperature. For D3 also we have to define, but we have not defined, so that's why D3 has not come. These are operating standby cases, vessel will be operating only, so we are adding D2 with all these cases. Now again you can perform analysis and you can check the nozzle load at vessel with respect to that displacement also, considering the vessel displacement. Means in place of modeling the vessel you can input, in case of pump also, without modeling the pump at the nozzle node you can directly input the displacements if those calculated values are known. So now you can check the nozzle loads directly for pumps as well as that vessels. Now 10 is on our nozzle node, so this much force is coming. So you have to compare these loads with allowable values, and if this is within allowable limit, then it is acceptable. Otherwise, you have to do some modification in supports or in layout. Means you have to iterate, and you have to check after every iteration, every modification, every change, that whether nozzle loads are within allowable limit, whether all stresses are within allowable limit. Once all loads or stresses are within allowable limit, support loads you have to check, displacements you have to check. If these are also within acceptable limit, then the system is considered to be safe and stress analysis can be accepted. Results can be accepted. So this way all other load cases, whatever is required, can be created. Simply you have to define in input screen, and then those load cases again you have to generate specific cases by adding those individual cases in the load case editor. I feel you have learned a bit about this load case editor. If you have any doubt, kindly message or write your doubt in the comment section, and I will try to clarify those. That's all for this article. Hope you have learned something new today. To get more updates about similar videos and our future videos, kindly subscribe to our channel. The channel name is mentioned here, that is Scissor 2 Piping Stress Analysis. Thank you.